guys, welcome back to Everything Anime Podcast. I'm your host Shinry, here at the Everything Anime Podcast. I've been from anime, manga, video games, TV shows, and everything we're talking about. Today's video is on Ghoul chapters 47 to 51. Now, today I was actually going to do The Woman in Black, but I didn't want to spoil the movie. And even if I spoiled the movie, I was like, I don't know. I feel like if you're interested, just go see it. But I also like the whole Woman in Black intro with the Today's the Day, and I'm blanking on me. But, you know, because I want to do movie reviews. I mean, I have my game reviews. I have my anime reviews, my manga reviews. We haven't done TV shows. Well, we did one TV show. We did The Flash, talking about how to put the Green Lantern in The Flash. And we talked about Superman and Lois, which I said is the best show to come out of CW. So we're getting there. You're going to see a lot more variety. Oh, and then I talked about Little Mermaid when that was controversial. I talked about that. See, I have talked about movies, but the next movie we definitely talk about is Drop, because I want to see that. That's sounding hyped up to see, just like talking about some like future videos coming out. I want to talk about Drop. Currently working on the Rise of Ronin. My brother and me played Bleach Rebirth of Souls last night. Bitch, I found out Tozen and his band guy, you know, like he basically erases himself and becomes like darkness itself. And as long as he stays in the darkness, as long as you stay out of the light, you can't see Tozen. That's cool, bitch. That's cool. Why am I talking about a video game in this Ghoul review? So I just want to tell you guys what's going on. Also, lately I haven't been writing. I really want to get back on writing. There's a video I want to do on TikTok today, kind of trying to promote that. So if you guys really do enjoy these videos, please support the Shinry series, the Chronicles of Wayne or Monsterverse. It's linked in the bio below. It really helps me out. These are my books. This is my passion, and I really just want to get it out there. But yeah, okay, so let's talk about Ghoul now. Sorry about that long 2-minute intro. You know, I gotta do those every now and then, like let you know, like it's a real person right here. Just, you know. Anyways. So when the chapter opens up, we have Amon staring at the monitors, watching the cameras back to the day that Tokua and Kaneki came to visit the CCG. He was like, the last day that Mato was alive, he was like investigating these he suspected these two students, high school students, might be ghouls. You know, they didn't set off the alarm, because he did drag Kaneki through it, but we know Kaneki's like a half ghoul, you know, a hybrid, so maybe he didn't. It could be because they were new, because Tokua did say, like, you know, there's a chance that might not work at all, but let's not take the risk. Or it's because Kaneki is both. We don't really know. Despite his colleagues telling him that the rabbit could be anyone, Amon is almost certain that these two have something to do with it. Again, he's really suspecting that like they had something to do with Amon's death. He's like, it's just too... Amon's instinct was like always on point. I mean, Amato's instincts was always on point. So he's like, I trust my former colleague, even though his crazy ass was all about collecting kinikis and shit and Kaganes. I still trust his crazy ass to a T. And we also know that like he was killed by Tokua. I guess also Hinami. Tokua and Hinami, but Takuya's the one that actually finished him off. So, you know, Amon's like, I'm trusting my instinct. I'm trusting my guts on this. Trusting my guts on this. We also then learned that Rise was known as the binge-eating ghoul. That's interesting. I guess all the ghouls have a nickname, like how Shu was the gourmet ghoul, and like, I mean, well, they all got like their thing, like, you know, Nishio's thing is like gaining people's trust and then betraying them, you know, shit like that. So I guess, I mean, it's cool. We'll learn a little bit more about Rise. Meanwhile, back with Kaneki, if you remember Yuta and Yomo, they and their friend, they told Kaneki, like, if you get into Shu's gourmet thing and you find out what's going on in there, I'll trade you information I know about Rise. So that's paying off already. So she's going to give him details about Rise's mysterious death, which was actually pretty disappointing, but what we're about to learn, because she basically said nothing. Nothing that we didn't already know anyway. So it was kind of pointless to go in there. Like, if he did get into that restaurant and then got out, like, the information she's going to give him was pretty, like, pointless. Stuff he could have already speculated or knew. So, even though Kaneki really didn't really get information he didn't really get that much information as well about the the gourmet restaurant. Like, they just tricked humans to go in there and then they killed them. Like, obviously they're ghouls. If they're taking humans into this gourmet cafe, obviously they're eating humans, so that's not really a big surprise. But One thing that she tells him is to look into who Rise was. And it's like, that's why he's coming to you, stupid. He doesn't know who Rise was. Like, obviously, like, if he wants information about Rise, he's gonna look into her, but like, you made it seem like you knew something about Rise. But she does reveal something, I guess, that is bigger information. Rise was not the bench ghoul's real name. Like, that's not her real name. She warns him, though, that for whatever reason she had for changing her name and abandoning her identity must have been a cruel one. So, again, they're trying to make us feel sympathy for these ghouls. And we're supposed to feel sympathy for Rise. Like, something happened in Rise's past that she's running away from, that she had to change her name. She's like Catherine running away from Klaus and, you know, framed Elena. Not saying she framed Kaneki, but like it's like that. Like, yeah, she's a big bad vampire, but there's a bigger bad vampire out there. There's a bigger bad ghoul out there than Rise, and Rise was afraid of whoever the fuck was hunting her down, so she changed her name. So, and even though my notes I said again, this manga is trying to make us feel bad for the ghouls. They're the bad guys, but in the terms of the story, they're the good guys. It's like, imagine watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but from Dio's perspective, like being betrayed by even though the JoJo's gave him a family and all that, like just imagine it from Dio's perspective, but like Dio's supposed to be the hero and the JoJo's supposed to be the bad guy. Like, that's what it's trying to do. We then run into a new paranormal investigator who is the same age as Kaneki. This isn't outright said, but the fact that Kaneki says that he smells good, and later we see 3 ghouls preparing to hunt him down, we can assume that he is. They also kind of tease that like he's like a girl. Like, a lot of people call him like, are you a girl or a boy? But he's a boy. I at one point thought he was a girl when I first read it, but yeah, he is. He's a boy. And yeah, Kaneki thinks he smells good, so obviously I knew he was a human, but also the fact that like we're giving him so much like screen time, I knew he was a paranormal investigator. Also, he's a master pickpocket because apparently he stole Kaneki's wallet without Kaneki noticing. He's got that Assassin's Creed style, like, you know, you pass somebody, you pat them on the back, and you stole their wallet, you stole their money and shit. And then in Assassin's Creed 2, like, after you stand up too long, they're like, hey, he stole my wallet. I'm sorry, my random ass. We also then learned that Nishio is back to full health and has joined the gang at Atiku. So now Kaneki has joined the party. I mean, Nishio has joined the party. He's one of us now. So I guess he's a good guy. I mean, in terms of the story, I guess he wasn't an outright bad guy. He was just a minor antagonist. You know, like Wario and Waluigi, like how they're now in the Mario Party gang. I guess they like that. It's also now confirmed that he's starting to like Kaneki in his own way, like asking what does he think about ghouls who eat humans, or sees humans as nothing more than food, and humans who see ghouls as nothing more than monsters. Like, he's like, what's your hot take on us ghouls eating humans, or what's your hot take on humans that see ghouls as nothing more than monsters? And Kaneki basically replies that we have to find a middle ground and live in a circle of life, which Nishio makes fun of, but also respects. So basically, like, Mufasa told Simba, you know, like, we eat the cattle, and the cattle eat the grass, and the grass, when we die, you know, we become fertilizer for the... Okay, so I think it was like, the cows eat the grass, we eat the cows, but then when we die, we become fertilizer for the grass to grow new. That's the circle of life. That's what Mufasa said. Something like that. I'm going to see if I can clip that in there. Well, actually, no, because Disney going to come for that. Fuck that. We ain't going to clip that in there. But if you know The Lion King, you know that's what Mufasa said, basically. And so that's what Kaneki's point of view is. Even though if Kaneki was so human, he'd be like, fuck y'all niggas. Yeah, the fuck. Y'all damn sure are monsters. Fuck y'all. Ain't no goddamn human going to be like, you know what? Go ahead, werewolf. You can eat me. It's all right. I know it's a circle of life. I deserve to die. The fuck? Again, everyone is acting so casual. Again, I have some of my notes about paranormal investigators coming to their town. When I thought most people like Kaneki were even supposed to believe. Oh, yeah. So that was my thing. Tokyo Ghoul has made it seem like ghouls are things that people speculate, they don't believe in, and like, you believe in ghouls, you're kind of crazy. Because that's was Kaneki's perspective. But now, since the story has started 47 chapters in, 50 chapters in, people just see ghouls and they're like, oh, that was scary. You know, like casual. I'm like, oh shit, that was scary. They're like, oh, that was scary. I can't believe that person was a ghoul. That little child was a ghoul. That old man was a ghoul. That old lady was a ghoul. Why are y'all so calm about this? Is this fucking Underworld Revolution or Underworld 4? Whatever the fuck that one was called. You know, where humans know about monsters, they just go around killing them with sun bullets and silver bullets and shit. We just know about it now. It's just everyday thing. Because if that's the truth, I mean, no one should be out at night. You know? Well, I mean, ghouls can walk in the sunlight. That don't fucking matter. Everybody should be suspected of everybody if you're a stranger. You know? I mean, literally, it's Mystic Falls all over. I said this in the beginning of Tokua Ghoul. It's Mystic Falls from the Vampire Diaries. Like, everybody knows that there's monsters in town, even though, like, no one should know that there's monsters around like that. But everybody just knows. Meanwhile, it's also confirmed that from before, the boy, the new paranormal investigator, his name is known as P.I. That's what I have on my notes. I don't think that's right. But I have it say just like Pi or P.I. or something like that. Correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong about that, or if I might correct it later in the notes, but that's what I have. And yeah, even in here, I talk about how like they suspect that he was a boy. I mean, suspect that he was a girl, but he's a boy. And he's another weirdo like Motto that loves killing ghouls for fun. Like he gets excitement out of it. Thought that was pretty funny. We got Amon's new partner is gonna be another Motto clone. Well, not a clone of Motto, but like basically Motto's like successor. He's like, oh yeah, he loves cutting up ghouls and all that shit. He does it for fun. Back at the CCG, Amon meets up with another paranormal investigator named Shinohara and Kosuke. The way that they're portrayed, it seems like gonna be a big deal, but again, I'm too early in the manga to really know who these characters are. But they are two paranormal investigators, and we learned that both were former partners of Motto. So these were like Motto's previous partners before he got sent or was given a Amon. So they're like, hey, how was it working with that crazy ass dude, you know? And Amon was like, no, he was cool. That was my dude. And thirdly, we meet another investigator named Sito, who they seem to want to play as the nerdy, ambitious one who wants to prove himself. You know, you always get that one character in the group that's like, oh, okay, so what I just thought, Blue Lock, you know that nerdy guy that's like always panicking, like, oh, I can't make a goal. And all of a sudden he gets the ball, he's like, becomes like a brute force, he can't move and shit like that. I forgot that character's name. That character is pretty funny. But there's always that character, Usopp in One Piece. You know, Usopp is played as the joke character, is always running away and scared. Now you got God Usopp, who's muscular, buff, and can fight. And Usopp can fight back then too. So I was already suspecting, I haven't seen this character do anything yet, but I'm suspecting that he's going to do that. He's going to be that character in anime that like it's played as a joke, but it's actually going to be pretty strong. It's a usual writing trope that people do. So I don't imagine that he'll probably fuck up his first ghoul assassination maybe, but then over time become more badass. That's what I'm suspecting. That's my speculation for this character. They're all having a meeting because the 11th Ward is essentially being wiped out by... They're all having a meeting because the 11th Ward has essentially been wiped out of P.I. Ghost. I don't know why I have that. Oh, they're being wiped out by the new paranormal investigator, the young boy, by ghouls. Like, they're like, all right, this is being overtaken, and like, you know, we gotta fight back. Like, and also wards 10, 9, and 12 are starting to see a rise in retaliation as well. So they're like, all these ghouls are rising up. Like, they've killed a lot of paranormal investigators, and like, you know, well, we're gonna learn about the group that's behind it all in a minute. But like, they're like, hey, 3 of these wards have been taken out, and we think 11's next. Like, you got 10, 9, and 12. You're in the center of this. Like, the ghouls are gonna try to take over this territory, and if we don't counter strike, if we don't sweep this area, we're gonna have all-out war. But the reason why they are in the 20th ward is because they believe that we have a dangerous ghoul here as well. Oh yeah, so we're not in the 11th ward. They're talking about the 11th ward, but we're in the 20th ward. I got confused for a second. But we have dangerous ghouls here, which we know is the gourmet ghoul Shu, the binge ghoul Rise, and the rabbit who we know is Tokua. They don't know that Tokua is a rabbit. They don't know that Rise is dead, and they don't know that Shu is dead, but they're going to start speculating that now. They believe that it's odd for the ghouls to attack in herds because of the rise of attack against paranormal investigators that they must be out to destroy the CCG. So the reason why they're here in the Chronicles of Wayne is like, all right, these ghouls are rising up because they're out to take out all these paranormal investigators. So that's what the PI stands for. It stands for paranormal investigator, not Pi. His name is not Pi. It was paranormal investigator. That's what it was. I knew what that kid's name. But yeah, so that's why like they're having this meeting. They're like, hey, all these ghouls, they're rising up. They don't normally attack in packs like that. They normally fight for themselves. They eat for themselves. But the fact that they're all rising up together and taking us out left or right, that means like they have to be out to take out these all of us paranormal investigators. They go and fetch the boy investigator, who before again I said it was a girl, but again it's a boy. So and it turns out like Amon, this is where Amon thought he was a girl, but he found he's a boy. He's been taken into police custody because they found him with a bloody knife. I'm assuming that normal cops didn't know he was fighting the ghouls or killing ghouls. But again, with them knowing about paranormal investigators and again about the whole city knowing that there's ghouls, I would believe him if he said he was fighting ghouls. And he's also weird as fuck because he's just trying to brain fuck a police officer. I mean, literally. Like, he like, oh! No, Scary Movie did not use a tongue. That's not what that was. And we're not clipping that in here. But basically, he sticks his tongue through this police officer's neck or ear, and it comes on the other side. And again, if you see the movie Scary Movie, the parody of Scream, you know what I'm talking about, because instead of a knife, it was something else. Anyway, we ain't clipping that in here. That's what happens. So I thought he might have been like Kaneki, like maybe a half ghoul that's a paranormal investigator. But it turns out he's just human, but he just has a weird tongue. But he's also Amon's new partner. That's where this was confirmed. I'll be right back, guys. I gotta get me a drink. I am thirsty. I'll be right back. Oh, sorry about that. I had to give me a little drink. Yeah, crush, boom. I always thought it was my shit as a kid. It still kind of is, but it was definitely my shit as a kid. Anyways, so Amon's partner's name is Suzuya. Suzuya. I might be saying that wrong. Again, I haven't got that far in anime yet. I might be even mispronouncing it. But his body is covered in weird self-body stitching. So even though it looks like he's wounded, he's apparently done this for aesthetics. Like he has like these like stitched up like neck all the way down his body and all across his body and arms. And apparently something that he did to himself. Now if you're like me wondering how he got away with basically attacking a police officer, and even Amon wonders that too. Unless he's part ghoul, because then this is in my notes. I'm like, or like that guy from Demon Slayer that like eats the flesh of like demons so he can like become a demon partially or temporarily. Something like that. I don't know how he did that to that police officer, for one. And then two, I mean, like, why the fuck did you go to jail? You literally like assaulted that police officer. But he's assigned to kill the bench eater ghoul. In exchange, he'll be given a proper kinike because he currently doesn't have one. He just has like a small little knife. But we do believe that the bench eating demon is inside of Kaneki. Oh, what they don't, they believe that like the binge eating ghoul might be inside Kaneki, which is of course Rise, or I don't think they know about that yet. But they suspect that the gourmet ghoul is dead, which you know is true because Tokua killed him as well as Kaneki and Nishio. But they just suspect that because they're like, a lot of these killings have just stopped. Like the binge eating ghoul, Rise has stopped killing. The shoe gourmet ghoul demon has stopped killing her. It's weird. These high ranking demons or high ranking ghouls have disappeared. Before we do get answers from the CCG, though, we get a flashback over to Atiiku, where we meet another ghoul co-worker who claims that he was once the ape devil. So there's a new ghoul at Atiiku that claims that he's the ape devil. So I don't know if he means like he like transforms to like an ape when he goes full ghoul mode. We've never seen this character before in the manga. I don't know if in anime he's more prevalent. But this is a lot of characters thrown at us at once. You got like 4 new paranormal investigators, possibly 5. 1 new ghoul called the Ape Devil. That's 6 characters in less than 4 chapters. That's a lot of characters introduced. I mean, we did that with the, we introduced like 9 characters in the Sabi Archipelago arc, but that was handled pretty well. So maybe this will do well too. Maybe they'll become memorable. I'm not sure. But he predicts that a war is coming between ghouls and paranormal investigators, which is something we've heard before, and hopefully we see. Like I'm excited to see what kind of war is going to happen. We finally got to the battle parts where like Amon was fighting Kaneki while Tokua was fighting Tequila and Hinami were fighting Mato. So we're finally getting to that shonen anime, because it is a shonen anime. It's a shonen jump. It's in Shonen Jump, which means a battle manga. But we hardly see battles because it's more like a slice of life. So it is kind of interesting to see what this war is going to look like. We then get more to the mind space of Tokua, as we learn that she's jealous of Kimi and Nishio's relationship. As we know, her best friend is a human, Yuriko, and she doesn't know the truth about her. So she's like, I wish I could tell Yorkiel that I'm a ghoul and that like eating her food makes me sick, but I do it because she's my best friend. And, maybe, like, she'd be accepted by her. Maybe she'd get to live with her in her own skin. She'd get to be herself. How Nishio is with his girlfriend. Nishio's girlfriend knows that she's human. Or, worst case scenario, Yorkiel, because this anime is dark and weird. Maybe Yorkiel would start putting her flesh inside her food so that Tokua can eat it. I ain't saying she should do that, but this anime is that kind of weird. It's that kind of strange. I put it here, it reminds me of my own best story with my best friend. So, I'm not a ghoul, but a story with my best friend is my best friend Naruto, Logi, Justin. He's the first person I told I was gay at 14. So, I had been in the closet for 14 years. Like, I knew I was gay, but I couldn't say it out loud because, in the 90s, you couldn't say that. Like, I was born in 1992, but you couldn't say that you were gay. You were seen as weird. You called the F word and stuff like that. And so I hid it for a long time. I suppressed it. And I feel like I would have, unalived myself if I had held it in any longer. So one day, me and Justin, we're just chilling on the staircase. And Justin's straight. But I said to him, I have to tell you something. He's like, you can tell me anything. I'm your best friend. I said, you're red, I'm blue. He's like, what? You're Captain Crunch on Fruity Pebbles. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I did a lot of those metaphors, but he still didn't get it, no matter what I said. So finally I said I'm gay, and I ran away. I was scared, I was crying, and the first thing he said to me was like, where are you going? I was like, I just told you I'm gay. He's like, so? I was like, you know what, that's weird? He's like, no, you want to go play video games? That changed my life. So I can understand Nishio with his girlfriend Kimi. I can understand Takuya's want to tell Yukio she's a ghoul, because that's how I felt wanting to tell my best friend I was gay. Telling anybody I was gay. It felt wrong. It felt like taboo. But my straight best friend, who's still straight, still my best friend, was just like, I don't care. And that just made it so cool. I wish the rest of the world was like that. If he was anybody else, I don't know if they would have reacted the same way. But I'm glad he's the one that told and accepted me. That really means a lot to me. He does know, but he doesn't know how much that means for somebody like me, especially that young age, to say that. Anyways, back to the chapter. As the chapter comes to an end, we meet a ghoul named Banjo who has some connection to Rise as he's come to the 11th ward looking for her. So I was like, oh shit. He's going to find Kaneki. He's going to smell Kaneki, something like that. He's going to smell Rise on Kaneki, and they're going to fight. I was thinking some kind of battle was coming. He enters Antiku, where he's greeted by Takuya and Kaneki, and he straight up asks if they know where Rise is and her location. He's like, where's Rise? I'm looking for her. And I was like, oh shit, is this the one that she ran away from? Because they said, or Ito, Yuta, and Yomo, that was her name. They told her, looking at Rise's past, looking at who Rise was running away from, she changed her name and everything. I was like, is this the ghoul that was hunting her down? It's not. I already know, but I'm just saying. But before they can give him an answer, he smells Rise on Kaneki. And he's like, you must be her ex-lover or something, because the first question he asks is like, are you her boyfriend? Like, why do I smell her on you? You was effing my girl, you was with my girl in bed. or I don't know. That's where my mind that went. Before Kaneki can give him an answer, his anger gets the best of him and he attacks Kaneki, who simply dodges his fist and takes him out in one blow, getting a hilarious reaction from the group that he's incredibly weak, which I found pretty funny. But also, I was thinking, well, you gotta remember, Kaneki is also like a half ghoul, so supposedly they're stronger, like a newborn vampire, but then again, she was whooping Kaneki's ass. Anyway, so maybe he is incredibly weak. While he's unconscious, we learn that Rise never gave this man the time of day. She just said something offhand, like become the leader, and he took it to heart because he saw her as an inspiration. So Banjo was in love with Rise. Rise didn't give him the time of day. She's just like, yeah, whatever, do what you want, become a leader, become stronger. I don't give a shit. She ain't having this man. She's just like, yeah, whatever, do what you want. Kaneki now still hopes that to use him to gather information about Rise and her past, and hopefully he might find out who killed her, because it is speculated that like Rise was killed, like them pipes ain't fall from nothing. And again, human weapons, human material aren't supposed to kill ghouls. It's only supposed to be by Kinekis and paranormal investigators. And if a paranormal investigator killed Rise, I'm pretty sure the CCG would have known about it. So it wasn't the CCG. And plus the CCG would have hit in the shadows and killed her. They would have killed her out in front of Kaneki. Saved his life and all that. Before we get answers again, though, we meet our first ward ghoul, which I guess is like the big dog of this area. His name is Kirishima. I do like his design. I'll show it off for a few seconds. So I'm guessing he's like the next big arc bad, like how Shu was like an arc. Well, it wasn't really much of an arc. More of like a short little saga. Anyways, we then skip over to Mr. Yoshimura and Yoma having a conversation about a group of ghouls called the Agori Tree. This is the group that is taking out all of the CCG all over the different wards. But we learn that their leader is called the One-Eyed King. We learn that their leader is called the One-Eyed King. Now, thinking back to what Yuta, Yoma, and Ita were talking about how rare one-eyed ghouls are, and like they've been speculating that like there's one out there, but no one's ever seen it. And so I was wondering if this is like another guy like Kaneki, like he might have been a human that became a ghoul, because there's no other reason why a ghoul would have one eye, and especially like a name specifically like the One-Eyed King. But they also know that one-eyed ghouls exist. And that they're rare because, like, you know, that's what got Shu excited. So I'm curious if, like, the One-Eyed King is like Kaneki, but he's just been, like, older than Kaneki or something like that. Before once again flashing over to Kaneki and Banjo, who now reveals that he is in love with Rise. Kaneki was hoping to talk to him and get some answers, but based off their conversation, it seems like he's nothing more than a fanboy. Like, Banjo doesn't really know anything about Rise either. He was just like in love with her. He talked to her in like, again, one passing conversation where she told him to become the leader, and like she never talked to him again. So Banjo's basically like a groupie. He's just been chasing after her. He does, however, give Kaneki a cryptic warning. He tells him to warn Rise because, again, he doesn't know that she's dead at this point. That the person that perhaps the person that killed her is after her, like the person from chapter 1. We then learn that the Agori Tree are responsible for killing all the doves in other wars. This is where it's confirmed. And their leader is specifically the one looking for Rise. So he's the one that Rise was running away from. She was running away from Kirishima. We don't have to wait long to meet them we don't have long to meet them though, because they show up almost immediately as Banjo does. Like the Agori Tree are already there. But there's a huge twist in this chapter. As the chapter comes to an end, we learn that Takuya's brother is a part of the Agori Tree. We didn't say that the brother was more interested in learning more about ghouls, whereas Takuya was interested in learning more about blending in with humans. So that's their different perspectives. That's why they went separate ways. That's why her brother joined the Agori Tree. He wanted to learn more about ghouls. Where Takuya, she went to Antiiku because Antiiku and Mr. Yoshimura are about like, oh, we want to, team up with humans and coexist with them. Before we can learn more, we are introduced to two new ghouls, Yamori and Nico, who give me Mr. 2 vibes based off their designs, like or the gay one in the Iran card. That's a boy. He was fighting Fujitora. Oh my god, that shit's hilarious. Anyways, so this is a lot of characters being introducing all at once. Now we got Takuya's brother. We got 2 more ghouls. So I was like, there's a lot of characters happening here. They were hunting down Rise for Mr. Kirishima, but since they didn't find her, they're settling for Kaneki, who smells like her. So that's actually where I did my notes. Sorry, guys. I know this video is a little bit choppy. Again, having to refer to my notes a lot. A lot of these videos were done a month ago, or notes were done a month ago. Again, I know that sounds like I'm repeating myself, but I just taken a long break. As you can see, like, we haven't talked about Tokyo Ghoul in a long time, but, you know, we're getting back into it. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next one. Talk to you later. Bye. Hey guys, this video was sponsored by me, the author of the Shinry series, the Chronicles of Wayne, and Monsterverse. So I figured I'd do this outro a little bit different by showing you guys what you guys will be checking out. So, the Shinry series starts with Book 1, Shobu Samurai Project Aryoku. 10 years after the death of his parents, Shobu Samurai returns home seeking vengeance, but instead faces a choice to save his home from shadow creatures, blood beasts, and an organization once thought dead. Shinry's Shobu Samurai starts at $9.99. And if you love anime, manga, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, Fairy Tail, Shaman King, Rave Master, Zatch Bell, anything like that, the Shinry series is definitely the series for you. You'll definitely want to check it out. The Sword of Light is probably the thickest one so far. And then these books are 2. This is Enter the Dread Zone Tournament. And the series original ending, Arado, the Legendary Conjuring Master. So, and I'll just show you guys some of the covers. Really proud of all of these. But I hope you guys check it out. If you don't like that, I also have the current published books for the Chronicles of Wayne, Love Be Damned, Cotton Candy, Full Moons, Fabled Lovers, A Cursed Virgin's Bite. If You Go Where Monsters Dance, Red Will Rain Over Your House. Love Be Damned. Now, the Chronicles of Wayne is about a geeky guy, or a nerdy guy in high school. His senior year, he has a crush on the hottest guy in school, because of course he does. He's only got one best friend, and her name is Barb. Well, the hottest guy in school turns out to be a werewolf. And to make the story more interesting, he bites Wayne and turns Wayne into the first ever wolfman in the last 10 years. And because of that, it was also a sacred law that wolfmen should never be created. I don't want to get into too much of the Chronicles of Wayne without spoiling it, but I can tell you it's very short. This one sells for $6.99, and Love Be Caged right after it. The ending of this trilogy, Love Be Liberated, comes out in October. So I'm going to definitely do a more full in-depth review of this one. But yeah, it's an LGBT fantasy fiction story about werewolves, vampires, white witches, a dark warlock, and, well, many, many more surprises to come. So, if you guys like to read, I definitely recommend. These are all the books so far in the Shinry series, except for Shinry's Beginning. I do have that one, but it's just not here with me. But yeah, I appreciate a like, support, or just a review on Amazon. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.